Hey guys, welcome back to Resistance Chicks. We are your hosts, Leah and Michelle. Today is the 1st of June. Happy 1st of June. I am so excited about today's show, and I have missed you. Leah's missed you. We have missed you, and I'm sorry we haven't been here all week, but you know what that means? That means we have a show that is jam-packed full of breaking news. It was hard for us to fit it all in the title. Thank you.
So yesterday we went to a parade.
Don't rain on my
It's the same. This is one we go to every year, and I had a weird eyebrow.
Oh my gosh,
and
this
Michelle
was so funny. This was so funny. She had an eyebrow that was sticking out.
She was going to pluck it.
It was
and
driving me
Shriners,
insane.
yes, those Shriners, the ones who are Syrian, they're not really Syrian. It's a really weird cult.
Yeah. This is
so they always have clown cars and stuff like that. So Michelle's plucking this eyebrow.
Very
Next
gingerly.
thing I know, the clown that I always see riding this,
the bicycle
that does stuff,
yeah,
comes over to my head, and like totally like tussles my whole hair, and I was like, my space.
Y'all people don't even know.
Clowns. Like, I can't even tell
but
you.
That wouldn't even been an issue if it wasn't your
But
space.
A strange person, like, totally in my space.
Y'all people don't even know. I mean, I'm serious. Like, Leah doesn't even let me... Like, if she's got something in her pocket and her hands are full, I can't reach in her pocket. If I need to put something in her pocket, I cannot put it in her pocket. It's amazing that she lets me actually pluck the eyebrow that was going. But she does not like people up in her space. And how many of you are like that? And the clown was all up in her face, messing with her hair. And she's like, he messed with my hair. And I said, Leah, but it's not messed up. She's like, no, you don't understand. He messed up my hair. And then finally you had to rephrase it to...
He messed my hair. He tussled it. He touched me. He touched my hair. He was moving my hairs around. Really weird. Really creepy. Like I'm going to sue the parade or something.
Oh my gosh. You can't sue the parade. You can sue the Shriners. Conspiracy theorists. Oh my gosh, we have so much that we're going to cover. If you didn't get a chance to look at the description, I'm going to read it to you really fast. Loomer has shocking new developments in the Las Vegas Massacre. The Parkland shooter, Cruz, pre-attack confessional on video. Trump met with Kim Kardashian. I don't even know why that's news, but it is. In the Oval Office, the North Korean summit is back on again. We've got the latest on Tommy Robinson, SpyGate's latest, and Dinesh D'Souza pardoned. We have so much that we want to bring to you. I am really excited about today's show, so stick around for the entire thing. You're gonna be blown away.
So, I'm gonna start out with this. This is a new documentary, a clip from a new documentary. This man's name is Ben Rhodes. He was a Democratic campaign. He might even been manager. I don't know all these people. Right? You can Google it, Ben Rhodes. Anyways, this is his reaction that they got on tape after Hillary lost and Trump won.
Okay.
So everybody's been tweeting this out. Watching it over and over.
Okay.
I just came outside to try to process all this. It's a lot to process. I mean,
he's not gonna cry.
I can't even...
It kind of seems contrived.
No. This is a man without words. He's going to cry.
It's really great. It's really awesome.
I can't put it into words. I don't know what the words are.
You know,
it's had 109 million views.
Good. I don't even think it's the same, but I felt that way when Obama was elected twice. Okay? But I wasn't at a loss for words. I was just like, you know what? God's in control.
It's the Obama team.
And he's going to take care. I put it up there. I searched it already. He's going to take care of it, and I'm going to be all right. And that is kind of the difference. Unfortunately, I'm not saying all liberals don't have God, but whatever. They don't have that fallback. Like, you know what? It's going to be okay. God is in control. It's not the end of the world. They ain't got that.
We got through 8 years of Obama.
I mean, come on, seriously.
We got through 8 years of Obama, and I have to tell you what we have been experiencing since then, despite the censorship,
right,
has been like golden. Like, it's been everything that you would have imagined and wanted for retribution for having to live through Obama.
Not everything, but close. Bombing Syria. Not so great.
Okay, don't rain on my parade.
It's raining right now. We have been getting so much rain. Because it's our channel and I can say whatever I want. We're talking about, like, climate engineering here.
Oh, yeah, because April was one of the coldest months on record, and May was one of the, literally one of the, that actually is news right now. May, for the Midwest, has been one of the hottest Mays, if not the hottest May on record ever in the history of all time.
So it was like 94 degrees here yesterday. I mean, ridiculous temperatures. We don't hit 94 until like July, August here. It's crazy. Horatio says it's so hot here. I don't know. I can't do the Yorkshire accent, but he said so hot here today. And I was like, really? And I was like, I need to look up what your temperature was. So I go to where he lives in Yorkshire and I look it up and I have to do the calculation of Celsius. And I was like, it was kind of in the 70s, the low 70s there, man. I was like, define hot to you, because it was, like 34 degrees Celsius here, which is, like the 94. So I'm just saying it wasn't that hot, dude.
That's really funny.
But I get it. It's hot, but it's not.
It's not hot. No, 70s aren't hot. That's just weird. All right. So I'm going to, I have a lot of UK news, and I know we cover UK on Sundays.
No, we can cover it whenever we want to cover
I'm going to cover it right now.
Let's
because
cover it right now.
This Sadiq Khan said we have to do something about the fact that most of the bicyclists are middle-aged white guys.
Like road bicyclists?
I guess so. Like, let's get more minorities riding bikes.
I think more people should ride bikes regardless. I think that's a racist statement.
But here we go. We do have a bicyclist here in London. He is a knife-wielding bicyclist. Check him out. There's no volume here, by the way.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
So the zombies have come out during the day, by the way, in London. You thought you would be okay during the day, like sunlight? No. They're out. They're out during the day. The zombies are out during the day in London. If you're bitten, you'll turn into one of them, by the way. That guy's going to run for his life.
But why didn't he stay in his car, and why didn't he just pull his car forward and just drive away?
I don't know.
Oh, because he hit something?
Yeah. So
more bicyclists.
He's a bicyclist. It's a minority bicyclist. But when the zombies are riding bikes, I'm not so sure.
Okay, but that, I mean, come on. And if you ever tried to break a window with a knife, that probably hurt his hand.
And I just have to say something about knives.
That was a big knife.
When we talk about carrying around knives, and Sadiq Khan says there's never a reason to carry around a knife, I would say there's probably not a legitimate reason to carry around that kind of knife. I don't believe they should be banned from being able to be carried around, but obviously these people carrying around knives, and you just see this knife once again. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Can they even see that behind your head? I hope you guys can see that. Oh my gosh. Can anybody explain to me what the holes in knives are for? Because I never could figure that out.
So when you're just swishing it through the air, you have less air friction.
No, really? Because that would be helpful with a sword.
No idea. I just made it up.
Yeah, that. All right. Oh my gosh.
All right. So do you want to do Nicholas Cruz or you want to do Dinesh D'Souza?
Let's do Dinesh D'Souza because you already have it up, and I'm so excited about this.
All right. This is first interview since his pardon, and Dinesh he says since Eric Holder and Preet Bharara made an example out of me, this was a vindictive political hit. Absolutely, as you exposed Obama. Loved Hillary's America. That was really good, by the way. Hillary's America.
That was Dinesh D'Souza's documentary. That was awesome.
Everyone has to see that.
It's literally called Hillary's America.
So, I don't know if they're going to go into this. I haven't seen this interview. We're just going to watch it together. I can only watch so much stuff. I get it up. Ready? Right? And I do know that he tried to bundle like $10,000 on campaign donations for somebody. But here's the thing. He says that what he did was wrong. He gets it. It's against the law. But he would like to be held to the same standards as everyone else. because nobody is prosecuted under that law.
But he didn't do it on purpose. Like, he wasn't trying to be shady, and the person that he donated to didn't even know that he was doing it. So the idea behind the law is so that you're not going to be donating massive amounts and then changing that person to do what you would want them to do.
Rosie O'Donnell did the big donations under 5 different names.
Yeah.
5 different addresses.
She didn't go to jail.
And these people bundled.
It was her haircut, though, that got her off.
Anyways, we can talk about
President Trump granting a full pardon to Dinesh D'Souza, the conservative author and filmmaker who pleaded guilty to campaign finance fraud in a New York Senate election, but is now breathing a sigh of relief.
All right, Dinesh D'Souza joins us right now for his first TV interview since his official pardon. Dinesh, what was it like to get the call from the president? Did you know it was coming?
I did not know. I was in my office just working away, and the operator came on the line and said, is this Dinesh D'Souza? Yes. Hold the line for the President of the United States. And
so
there was Trump. And the President said, Dinesh, you've been a great voice for freedom. And he said that, I got to tell you, man to man, you've been screwed. He goes, I've been looking at the case. I knew from the beginning that it was fishy. But he said upon reviewing it, he felt a great injustice had been done, and that using his power, he was going to rectify it, sort of clear the slate. And he said he just wanted me to be out there, to be a bigger voice than ever, defending the principles that I believe in.
Dinesh, you tweeted this out. Obama and his stooges tried to extinguish my American dream and destroy my faith in America. Thank you, Donald Trump, for fully restoring both. Why do you feel like you were singled out by the Obama administration?
Well, here's the important thing, and that is that justice is not simply a matter of, hey, did you break the law? It's also a matter of, was the penalty proportion to the crime?
Yeah, very true.
And did other people who do the same thing get the same penalty? Now, I've become very familiar with these campaign finance cases over the past several years. No American in our country's history has ever been indicted, let alone prosecuted, let alone locked up.
That's insane.
For doing what I did. There's just not a single case. And so what happened here is that Obama and his team, Eric Holder, Preet Bharara in New York, these guys decided to make an example of me. And I think that the reason for this was Obama's anger over my movie that I made about him. I know that Obama was upset about the movie because he was raging about it on his own website, barackobama.com. And so this was a vindictive political hit that was kind of aimed at putting me out of business, essentially destroying my credibility, making it impossible for me to make movies, write books. In that sense, it failed, but it still left a cloud over me. I would be a lifelong felon. I would never be able to vote and never have my full rights. And so I'm very grateful to President Trump for giving me those rights back.
Now, Dinesh, of course, the so-called mainstream media says this is symbolism, it's signaling, this is not real justice. What do you say to those who look sideways at this?
Well, I think it's important to just look at what happened. Preet Bharara, my prosecutor, tweeted out yesterday, and he goes, let's just face the facts. Dinesh D'Souza voluntarily pleaded guilty to this offense. Now, this word voluntarily needs to be put into quotation marks because, in reality, this is how this kind of thing happens. The government says to you, we're going to charge you with violating the campaign finance law. Are you going to plead guilty or not guilty? You say, I'm thinking of pleading not guilty. Then the government says, well, all right, we're now going to put a second charge on top of that. This is called filing a false document. You say, well, did I do something else wrong? They go, no, it's the same thing. We're just describing it in a different way and appending a second charge, but this one carries 5 years in federal prison. So essentially, we're going to destroy your life. Now, if you plead guilty to the first charge, we'll drop the second one. The point I want to make here is that this kind of legal bludgeoning tactic is used not only against the guilty, but also against the innocent. It's a way of, in a sense, forcing you to submit. And then, of course, they put on a very solemn robe and say, well, he voluntarily pleaded. The voluntary issue here is highly dubious.
Right, and your feeling after spending time in jail, how would it change you?
Well, I was put in a halfway house in San Diego for 8 months, sleeping overnight in a dormitory with actually 120 hardened felons. It's not my normal crowd. It was an eye-opening experience. I came out of it fine. In some ways, I think temperamentally, emotionally, I'm even stronger than I was before. And I've learned a lot. So I don't, in that sense, regret my experience. But I do feel that as an immigrant, just the simple haunting sound of United States of America versus Dinesh D'Souza, an army of FBI agents going after you, and now a congressional committee has a copy of my FBI file, a file that the FBI had been refusing to release to Congress for a long time. And now we kind of know why, because when you look in the file, you see that I'm red flagged as a prominent conservative critic of the Obama administration. Now, why is that in my file? Well, it's in my file because the FBI is signaling to the whole Justice Department, hey, here's a guy you might want to go after. Here's a guy who's one of your political enemies. Right. And so this is the kind of way the signaling works. The signaling is within the government targeting me for selective prosecution.
Wow. All of that for giving Wendy Long, this New York politician, $20,000.
Wow.
There you have it.
So what is so important about this, and I know that most of you guys understand this, but maybe those overseas don't know, but he went to jail, okay? He has a felony on his record. In the United States, doing anything as a felon is impossible. It's very difficult. Not that he's going to want to get a job, right? But, I mean, there are a lot of forms you have to fill out. Have you ever been convicted of a felony? And if so, you're not going to be able to do X, Y, Z. Yeah. So this pardon isn't the kind of pardon that pulls you out of jail or something like that, but it expunges his record as if it never happened. And that is such a big deal. So now when he can honestly fill out a form that says, have you ever been convicted of a felony, and say no. That's huge.
I love it. I love it.
I'm really excited. All right, so I think next we should move on to Nicholas Cruz. We have a bit of a difference of opinion here at our house on this video, and since Patriot Gallery isn't here to give her view, I'm going to give hers first. She feels like this video, let me backtrack. He filmed a confessional, a pre-attack confessional video that we are going to show you in its entirety here in a second. Viewer discretion is advised. There's no curse words. There's nothing, but it is chilling to hear him talk about this attack, knowing that it actually happened. It wouldn't be the same if it hadn't actually happened, but knowing that it actually happened makes it a little bit more polarizing. So Patriot Gallery feels like as he's reading this script, some of it sounds like a script. It does sound like he is read. She said something. He's reading it. She said something about it looking like his wrist was broken. She feels like this video was filmed after the attack. Like it was coerced to get a confessional out of him. I don't. But we're allowed to have differences of opinion, and I want you guys to tell us what you think after you watch it. Either way, it is him. There's no false thing about that at all. Talking about it, he does laugh a little bit in it. He talks about bringing his AR into school. So I'm going to just pull it right up and let you guys tell me what you think. This is 2.5 minutes long. I'm going to make it big, so I won't be able to get to your comments until after the video finishes playing here. So Lee, you can go ahead and put your earbuds in. Lee, have you watched this yet?
Yeah.
All right. So I also know that when I pull up these videos, you guys can't hear us talking.
El pasado
video.
Hello. My name is Nick, and I'm going to be your next school shooter of 2000.
I hate to pause this right in the middle, but look at this. I've never seen this before. RT is funded in whole or in part by the Russian government. Wikipedia. I just saw that when I pulled the video up earlier.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's
2018. My goal is at least 20 people with an AR-15 and a couple tracer rounds. I think I can do a good done. Location is Stone Douglas in Parkland, Florida. It's going to be a big event. And when you see me on the news, you'll all know who I am. You're all going to die. Pew, 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 pew. Yeah. Can't wait. Today is the day that it all begins. The day of my massacre shall begin. All the kids in school will run in fear and hide. From the wrath of my power, they will know who I am.
This is the part she felt like.
I am nothing. I am no one. My life is nothing and meaningless. Everything that I hold dear, I let go beyond your half. Every day, I see the world ending another day. I live a lone life, live in seclusion and solitude. I hate everyone and everything. With the power of my AR, you will all know who I am. I had enough of being told what to do and when to do. I had enough of telling me that I'm an idiot and a dumbass. But in real life, you're all the dumbass. You're all stupid and brainwashed by these fucking political government programs.
I thought there weren't any curse words. I apologize.
You will all see, you will all know who my name is. My love for you, Angie, will never go away. I hope to see you in the afterlife. When one day or another, you will end and we'll all die. Alright, so here's the plan. I'm gonna go take an Uber in the afternoon before 2:40. From there, I'll go into the school campus, walk up the stairs, unload my bags, and get my AR and shoot people down at the main courtyard. Await, and people will die.
Alright, so there was his broken wrist that the Patriot Gallery was referring to. Again, I know you probably couldn't hear me. I apologize. I didn't remember that F word being in there. Yeah. So what do you guys think after watching that? It's pretty chilling. It is interesting to me that there's a lot of things that are coming out. Like we're going to bring you the Las Vegas update. These are very basic things that could have come out in the beginning and they didn't. His broken wrist for one.
Right.
I want to know how he carried out this attack
with a broken wrist.
With a broken wrist in a cast. Did I say wrist? In a cast. That's really interesting to me. He did mention his, I don't know what you want to call her, love, this girl Angie. Maybe I hope to see you again in the afterlife. There was a girl, and we did learn about that early on, that he had kind of been stalking, and she had refused him.
The same thing happened in Texas. There was a guy who shot a bunch of people because a girl ignored him. It's so weird.
But I think after showing this video, you guys can make your own decisions on what you think. My point for wanting to show this is kind of my upsetness that this was kept from the public for so long. Yeah. So let me see. Mama Donna says what he's actually saying is me, somebody pay attention to me. I will make you pay attention to me. When was that video dated? I'm not really sure. It doesn't have a timestamp on it, and that was one of the things that the Patriot Gallery had kind of called out. Wicked Psyched says, what opioids was he on with the broken wrist? Mixed with psych drugs could definitely be. So, yeah, again, with the date, I don't know. Stevie Crockett's Outdoor says, this boy needs God in his life. You are very, very correct. Mama Donna says narcissistic psychos talk like that. Baker Mom, why is this video surfacing now? Where did it come from? He sounds like he is reading from a script. That kid needed Jordan Peterson. Jim West, you are so right. And Lord willing, we may be seeing Jordan Peterson soon. We will, we'll let you guys know about that if we do. Not personally. Like, go and, like, pay money to see him. Again, when was it filmed? I have no idea, but obviously they're saying that it was filmed obviously before he did the shooting. Chris says in Santa Fe, Texas, the girl humiliated him in class when he asked her out. Remember, Chris has family that knows the shooter. So yeah, just an angry kid. He doesn't sound like a serious cold-blooded killer, says Redneck Survivalist. Jim West says the shooting seems like an afterthought. So, yeah, there you guys have it.
All right, so Laura Loomer is actually working with Milo
Yiannopoulos
at his dangerous.com. I'm trying to find her first article where she is one of the only people reporting on this. There were 3 women.
This is so mind-blowing. Oh, my gosh.
With Stephen Paddock.
We talked about this on Sunday, even though it was the UK European show, but only because we had to, because it is so, I don't know what you even call it. I'm so angry that they kept this from the public. This is not a thing. You say we went into the room and he was alone. That's a lie.
Right. So I'm gonna find that. I'm probably here on her website, but I'm gonna get to this one. Vegas documents reveal Stephen Paddock told an Uber driver about a terrorist attack for Mandalay Bay.
Really? It's always with the Uber drivers. The kid, this is the Parkland kid, says, I'm going to take an Uber. What is with Uber? I'm telling you, there is some sort of conspiracy involved with Uber.
So this is, you can see the date. Now. The date occurred on the 1st of October, where this witness statement was taken. A witness statement that is part of a batch of newly released police documents concerning the Las Vegas shooting reveals that in the days before the Las Vegas shooting, Stephen Paddock and a woman were picked up. Now, was it Mary Lou Danley? She has been confirmed that she was in the Philippines or whatever. So, who was this woman, right? Days before the Las Vegas shooting, Stephen Paddock and a woman were picked up by an Uber driver who said Paddock commented on the Mandalay Bay area for a terrorist attack as he was being dropped off at the Mandalay Bay. The witness statement is one of many previously unspoken statements that were released nearly 1 week ago after a judge ordered them to be released. So you can see this is the official police report, and it says, I got a request to pick up Paddock at terminal in one pickup area for Uber, not sure what day or time. I picked up a man and woman. So who is writing this? What police officer is writing this? Is it
no, it's got to be the guy himself, though, right?
No, a police statement is written down by the police officer. Pretty sure.
That looks like a child's handwriting.
I don't know. I'm not sure actually who. But anyways, I picked up a man and a woman with a big blue suitcase, old looking and heavy, and he commented on the Mandalay Bay area for a terrorist attack. Fine, dropped off at Mandalay Bay. P.S. Maybe check Uber's records.
Wow. I bet that's a witness,
the name of the Uber driver is redacted in the report, but the driver is described as a 5'10", 200-pound woman with red hair and blue eyes. The witness
5'10", 200 and how?
200 pounds, red hair, blue eyes, kind of hard to miss. The witness statement was documented. October 4th. I didn't see it doesn't look like 4. Okay, she says October 4th, 2017, by Las Vegas officer, which begs the question as to why the public is only now finding out 8 months after the Las Vegas shooting that Paddock mentioned a terrorist attack taking place at Mandalay Bay prior to the attack. Interestingly, the witness originally wrote they in her statement, but then crossed out the word. Okay, so the witness did write it out. But then crossed out the word they and changed it to he. However, in the witness statement, it is made very clear that another woman was also in the car with Paddock and the Uber driver. It is unclear whether the woman in the Uber with Paddock was his girlfriend, Mary Lou, or the other recently released Las Vegas shooting documents, and I'm going to bring this up in a second. We'll get to that. When there were 3 women in Paddock's room when the police entered his 32nd floor suite the night of the shooting, October 1st, 2017. On October 1st, 2017, police say Stephen Paddock, 64, opened fire from his 32nd floor suite, killing 58 people and injuring 800. They have never provided a motive for this, but they did say from the very onset that it's not terrorism, even though ISIS has claimed it twice.
Can I just, for a second, as my thoughts are forming, and you can figure out what you want to say next. I'm still stuck on the 5'10", 200 pound, 210 pound, or 200 pound, 200 pound woman. All right, y'all. I look like a big person. Okay, I'm 5'7", so I'm not that huge. 5'10", 200 pound woman. We're back at the multiple shooters because Chris Holman is leaving. He said, I called multiple shooters. The health ranger proved the multiple shooter theory, which I watched that video. It was fantastic. There could be hookers that are that large. Maybe some people are into that sort of thing.
The Uber driver.
The Uber driver was 5'10" and 200 pounds?
Yeah.
Well, why are they describing her?
They're just describing the Uber driver.
Okay, all right, never mind then. Because I'm thinking the woman that was with him, if she was 5'10", 200 pounds, then that kind of proves that she could have been some sort of like Marine or something. Okay, never mind.
The Uber driver.
Okay, but why do they need the description of the Uber driver?
I don't know.
So she's a big woman too. All right, forget I picked on it then. Because
the driver is described.
Okay, that's weird that they're describing the driver. They're withholding information. So we need details of the women 2nd, that were there.
They said one day after the shooting, we have determined to this point no connection to any international terrorist group. Adding more concern to questions surrounding the competence level and honesty of the Las Vegas shooting investigators, including Sheriff Lombardo and Agent Roos. The witness statement was documented on October 4th, 2017. However, according to a statement made by Dr. Larry Barton, an FBI Academy threat management instructor, during an interview with NBC News on October 2nd, 2017, said, I just got this 10 minutes ago, and you'll be the first people to know this. The good people of Uber just called to tell me that they picked up this perpetrator and his girlfriend on September 9th and September 20th, and guess where they took them to the Mandalay Bay. This fell out of fortune, so I suggested to Uber, you need to call the FBI to give them that information. After Barton's interview, word of Paddock being picked up in an Uber and dropped off at Mandalay Bay was quickly brushed aside and not mentioned by investigators or the media thereafter. Although the witness was interviewed on October 4th, officers say that Paddock mentioned a terrorist attack at Mandalay Bay. Sheriff Lombardo and Aaron Roos never mentioned this possible premeditated terror attack admission to the public during any of their press conferences. So they knew that this was the possibility that he mentioned a terrorist attack being, that a witness had said this.
Interesting, though, that it would seem, correct me if I missed something you're reading, that the Uber driver did not report this until after the attack.
On the 4th, yeah.
So, well, we proved, though, with Parkland, though, if you see something, say something doesn't work.
Right. A source within the Las Vegas FBI told this reporter that if the FBI was serious about the woman's statement, standard protocol would have required them to polygraph the Uber driver to see if she was telling the truth.
Mm-hmm.
The source added, for a major investigation with the witness having specific information, it is standard operating procedure to ask her to take a polygraph. Never in my 20 years in law enforcement have I seen investigators rule out terrorism within the first 24 hours of a major attack taking place. If true, this witness statement is very damning to the FBI.
So let's break that down a little bit, because we have an admission from Stephen Paddock that it would be a terrorist attack. And that's the key word here, because they ruled out terror, because we now know the definition of a terror attack is to try to make something politically
motive.
Exactly. So what if now we're looking at this and Stephen Paddock is self-admitting, right, before the attack, that it is a terrorist attack, meaning he is trying to change something politically.
Right.
This doesn't prove anything. I'm still not convinced that Stephen Paddock actually died in that room. I have to tell you, okay? I don't know. I'm not saying that he wasn't. I'm just saying, for him to say that it was a terrorist attack beforehand, that word is really key.
So FBI instructor said Uber contacted him to inform him Stephen Paddock and his girlfriend were picked up in an Uber September 9th. Also worth noting, prior to the Las Vegas shooting, ISIS warned that the Vegas could be attacked.
And we knew that.
After the FBI declared that ISIS was not responsible for following ISIS's initial claim just hours after the shooting, ISIS continued to claim responsibility for the attack nearly 3 more times, even promising to attack the Las Vegas Strip again in the future. The Las Vegas police and the FBI both declined to comment on this shocking witness statement. This week, Sheriff Lombardo issued a comment ban within the Las Vegas police to ensure that no Las Vegas employees speak to anybody, particularly the media, about the contents of the newly released Las Vegas shooting police documents. They worked really hard to not allow these documents out.
It's like everywhere we turn, there are reporting bans happening. It's in the UK for Tommy Robinson. Now it's here. The police can't talk to the... Seriously?
Right. So here is this article that I read to a friend of mine when we were last Saturday, and obviously didn't have a chance to bring this to you guys. Las Vegas shooting police files show 3 women were in Stephen Paddock's room.
3 women.
How is this even a thing? Like I read it over and over and over again, and the documents are there, but I'm still not believing it. Like I believe it. I do believe it, but I can't believe it because they've told us so many lies already.
Now, as far as the multiple shooters go, and I'm going to let you read that article, but I just want to get some of my thoughts before I lose them. We have multiple shooters. Now, I want to remind you, because it's been a while since this happened, we have eyewitness statements of shooters on the ground. Mm-hmm. So, yes, having the women up there helps with the multiple shooter theory, okay? Because we do have multiple shots being fired from above, right? Mm-hmm. So, and we've got the 2 windows. But seriously...
And why was the door locked from the inside? Were those women in the locked room?
Did
they lock themselves in the room?
Where are they? What are their names?
Why didn't they go out the door when they heard the shooting? I mean, so weird. Recent documents released regarding October 1st, 2017 Las Vegas shooting are beginning to shed more light. The documents also indicate 3 women were found in the alleged shooter's room. Like, I'm just like... I'm like, what?
Every time they kept saying
he was alone. The
pictures of the room, nothing was ever mentioned. And you know what's really infuriating? Again, like you just said, they insisted over and over and over again. They pushed that narrative so much. He was alone. He was alone. He was alone. There was no possibility of anyone else. As soon as they lied, they are liars. We all knew they were liars, but now they're like legitimate liars. So how can we believe? And you know what, Sheriff Lombardo, we don't want any comments out of your office or any of your officers because it's all a pack of lies. Right. I mean, seriously. Oh my gosh. Smoke and mirrors, says Stuart the Brit. That's exactly what it is. Those women were in there.
So these details, Paddock was located by a security detail at the Mandalay Bay. As actions were taken to assemble a team of officers to apprehend the suspect, a dispatcher shared the name of the alleged shooter located in room 32-135, along with 3 females that were reported to be in the room with Paddock. However, the names of those 3 women are redacted from the report, while the checkout date listed for the women aligns with Paddock's planned out checkout date of October 2nd, 2017. On page 26 of the log, documented as having taken place at 11:02 p.m., the night of the shooting when police breached Paddock's room, units in control of 32-135, suspect named K. Paddock, Stephen, 3 females in room. The 3 females are listed as number 1, number 2, number 3, and their check-in and check-out dates, but their names are redacted from the log.
What is that movie with
number 1.
Robert Duvall, where the Western with Kevin Costner, and he's like, he names the women. He's like, you're number 1, you're number 2. We quote that a lot.
Shocking details such as the one above are found throughout the nearly 2,000 documents that were released following a court order after the Associated Press and additional media outlets sued the Las Vegas police for the release of information. Other details revealed in the dispatch log include calls that were made to report multiple gunshot wounded victims hiding in fear for their lives all over the Strip. There were panic calls made from Sundance helicopter and possible hostages taken. The details of the Las Vegas dispatch log on page 26 specifically reveals that dispatch received information from Mandalay Bay regarding guest names, additional parties in the room, along with check-in and departure dates for Paddock and 3 women found in his room, all of which completely contradicts information given to the public in the early report. So why lie like this? Why cover it up? Why not say there were 3 women found in the room? Why not tell us that?
Well,
he said there were persons of interest that we're interviewing. We don't think that they're connected to the thing.
But there is a reason why. Because I believe that these were shooters. Okay, so here's what Secretarian says. We knew there were lies from the beginning. No way that man ran from one window to the other. Mm-hmm. Then Chris Holman, who, remember, he has a huge military background, huge gun background, says 4 people, 2 shooting positions, 1 shooter per position, 1 to feed ammo, and additional rifles per shooting position. Okay? Don't tell me these 3 women were hookers. And I believe, that is complete conspiracy theory, but I can throw it out because, again, it's my channel. They used women so that later they could come back and say, no, they were just hookers if it did come out, but it was intended that it wouldn't come out because they came out with that narrative right away to say it was just
There were several witness accounts that state Danley was in town with Paddock. What about the one girl who right afterwards said there was a man and a woman saying, you got to get out of here, you're going to get shot? Whatever happened to her?
Yeah, that's a good question.
going around telling people you're going to...
Now, you had said it may not have been Mary Lou Danley in the Uber, but these dates were September 9th and September 20th.
25th?
Or something like that. Yeah. And she may have been here then. We don't know. I don't remember them releasing the dates that she actually went down to South America.
The Philippines.
The Philippines, wherever she went. Oh, she went overseas?
She went to the Philippines.
Oh, I thought she was... Okay,
she's Filipino.
But seriously, I mean, it could have been her. It could have been Mary Lou.
Yeah, so you gotta check this out, because this is absolutely insane that ISIS claimed responsibility. You got the taxi driver, Uber driver saying, he said it was going to be a terror attack in Mandalay Bay. It'd be a great place for one.
All right, so let's...
So yeah, this is...
So when we're talking about this possible political change, right? What was the political change that happened, and what has continued to be the political change that they have been trying to push ever since Las Vegas? Gun control. Mm-hmm. So when you say, well, he didn't make any statements, we don't know what his political agenda would have been, yada, yada, yada. Well, we can see from the aftermath, it's kind of like working your way backwards, that the gun control argument has been the political climate ever since.
And they used, I believe they set up Cruz big time.
Yeah.
Because David Hogg's dad's FBI body armor guy, totally ready. And Obama's like, we've been waiting for you.
Yeah.
He tweeted that out. We've been waiting for you. Like, so weird. So crazy. From John Solomon, bombshell. Obama deep state was spying on Trump's campaign with human sources before investigation was launched. Now,
we haven't covered this yet.
We've been covering this a lot. But here's the thing. This is going around in circles. If you watch, and you probably don't, watch any mainstream media, it's semantics.
You only watch us. And if you haven't shared this stream, go share it right now.
Mainstream media is saying it wasn't a spy. Even Trey Bowdy said it wasn't spying, right? So weird. They would say it's not spying. But
it's totally spying.
Tucker Carlson had a guy on, and they're talking about this. They're like, okay, so somebody is an informant in a campaign. The campaign doesn't know they're there. The Harpler guy, the one we're gonna call him a spy. The spy made specific contacts with these guys, dropping them little notes like, "Hey, I've seen some of your work. You want to meet and talk about things?" Like trying to draw information out. Even with the Papadopoulos guy, he said, "Have you seen the emails from Russia?" Like he's dropping information.
So what they're trying to say is this guy was just a part of the campaign. And he just happened to have information, and he just so happened to give it to the Obama administration.
He had already been on the FBI payroll to begin with.
Really?
And you're gonna, yeah.
No, we're doing a show right now. Oh, I need to take this. Hello?
All right, so John Solomon dropped another bombshell Friday on the historic Obama SpyGate scandal. According to Solomon, new documents reveal Obama deep state figures contacted Trump campaign officials in Great Britain prior to the launch of any FBI investigation. This spying on Trump campaign officials show the Comey FBI broke their own rules governing informants. This is from The Hill. The bridge to the Russian investigation wasn't erected in Moscow during the summer of the 2016 election. It originated earlier, 1,700 miles away in London. So really, the government that actually worked and tried to influence our election is definitely the UK. I'm sorry, you guys really, now we have to put
it was
sanctions.
the U.S. too.
Now there's been sanctions on you. I'm just kidding.
When the U.S. government is trying to influence our elections, then what?
Right. Where foreign figures contacted Trump campaign advisors and provided the FBI with hearsay allegations of the Trump-Russia collusion. Bureau documents and interviews of government insiders reveal this is a collusion at highest level. These contacts in the spring of 2016, some from trusted intelligence sources, others from Hillary Clinton supporters, occurred well before the FBI headquarters authorized an official counterintelligence investigation on July 31st, 2016. The new timeline makes one wonder, did the FBI follow its rules governing informants? So,
all these new developments out of the deep state. From The Hill, John Solomon, Fox News contributor, Sarah Carter. John, we start with you. You have a huge story you are about to unfold. I've got some, well, let's just say a preview of coming attractions here. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so I'm putting the finishing touches on a column I think will come out tomorrow, and I will reveal two really important things. The efforts to begin targeting and reaching out to Trump campaign officials to gain intelligence on Russia that would ultimately justify the investigation began weeks and maybe months before the FBI had a formal predicate. And that's very important. The rules say you can't use sources until you have a predicated investigation. The predication is July 31st, 2016. My sources and documents that I'll be able to make public tomorrow will show that there were contacts going on by people identified as informers, informants, people who provided information began much, much earlier than July 31st.
That's the big one of the biggest bombshells is that they finally got approval to do this whole investigation July 31st.
Yep.
But everybody's been saying, what about this timeline? What about this timeline? You were using your sources and all your crazy people
long
way
before you got the approval to do it.
Right.
That's the first part.
It's do it first, ask for forgiveness or permission
as
later.
the investigation was just starting to ramp up, there are internal FBI documents showing FBI agents talking about the White House trying to take over the investigation.
That would be the Obama. There are documents that he has that says the White House wants to take over this investigation into the Trump campaign. You have the Democrats working the Hillary Clinton campaign. I mean, you and I can see it.
Right.
But when the mainstream media goes to talk about it, they go off like on wild traces. I don't understand. Like, it's all right there.
Department was going to leak for political reasons and their own personal fear.
Slow down. Yeah. When you say the White House, you mean the Obama White House.
Yes.
They were attempting to take over the
buzz is on their end, by the way.
That's what these messages say. The White House is going to be in charge.
These are FBI messages.
Yes.
And we're talking about the Obama White House. How high up are we talking about here?
We don't know. The text messages are just what they are, right? They don't give a lot of detail. They're short and as you would normally see in a text message. But the words, the White House is running this, are clear in the text message, and people will be able to make up their own mind. And here's another thing that's going to be really interesting to people. You just had it in your monologue a little bit about whether President Obama was aggressive enough on Russia. The FBI agents who opened this case feared that Barack Obama was weak on national security and wouldn't do what they needed for Russia. You're going to see those messages tomorrow, and I think people will be able to see those in between those bookend events.
Page texts?
Some of them are struck page texts, some are other documents.
And there's about to be, am I wrong, a cascading flow of information when the IG report comes out. Let me bring Sarah into this part.
Yeah, 400 pages.
Right. That the IG is going to release, and it will immediately be followed up by good people in the FBI and in the intelligence community that will corroborate and confirm this was rigged, this investigation into Hillary Clinton. Sarah.
Yes, there are a number of people that are ready to speak, a number of FBI agents that are currently working in the Bureau, and other former agents who want to tell the truth about what was going on. I mean, Sean, we know what happened at the higher levels, on the 7th floor of the FBI, the highest officials, but there are so many agents within the Bureau that were disgusted by what happened. I mean, I reported over and over again, I know John has too, that agents were so angered when Comey made this decision, a decision he shouldn't have made, by the way. It should have been left up to the Department of Justice, that they literally got up from their desks in some field offices, left their offices and didn't return until the next week. Other agents were throwing food at the television at Comey. So, I mean, there are a lot of people that are ready to talk. They're ready to talk about what happened. It just depends on if Congress calls them to testify, and I think that's very important.
John? All these new developments.
So, I want you guys to notice the title there. The deep state, headed for a downfall or whatever it said. The very fact that 2 years ago, the phrase deep state wasn't even used by anybody but conspiracy theory red-pilled people.
Yes.
It wasn't. Now it's on mainstream media. It's on Fox News. People have exposed the fact that there is a deep state, that there are covert operations that are happening all over our country to subvert the will of the people, and it's being exposed. I think that this is a huge moment on top of what we just learned.
Yeah, so if Hillary Clinton were elected, I mean, like I say again, when I get depressed, I just tell myself Hillary Clinton is not president. So it's kind of like they've got a huge boil or some mass infection, and it would have gotten worse. And so we get frustrated when it seems like it's not healing, but at least we've identified it, and we're trying to hit it with all the antibiotics that we can.
Right.
It's fighting to stay in this infection in our government, but
it's losing. It's fighting a losing battle. All right, so here, are we going to go to Katie? No.
We will.
Okay.
We're going to, I want to talk to you guys about Trump. It's on, by the way. The
North Korean
summit is on.
It's on.
Trump met with two Kims, by the way. And I have to say, I'm not a Kim Kardashian fan, but here's the difference between conservatives and right-wing and libertarian-minded people and the left. Yeah. Okay? Because I can look at a person for what they're saying and what they're doing and take everything else aside.
I'm struggling with this with Kim Kardashian.
No, here's the thing. No, you don't understand.
You can't tell me what I'm struggling with and what
Michelle,
I'm not.
There is a woman, a grandmother, who ran a part of she was just like a runner for a drug cartel.
Okay.
And Kim Kardashian, yes. Okay. Well, she's a grandma now. She's a great grandma. Kim Kardashian saw her story on Twitter, and she was moved by it.
Okay.
And that's what she met with Trump about, to try to get this woman a pardon and to talk about prison reform for people who have been in there for years on nonviolent offenses. Maybe they were pulled into a drug cartel or something.
Okay.
She's been in jail. She's been in jail since 1997. She's reformed her life.
I told you that I'm trying. I just said I'm struggling.
Right. And so I can see that situation, and I can say, you know what?
Okay.
I can see how I would like for her to, that woman to be out as well. So I want to find that.
But the very fact that Kim Kardashian is meeting with Trump is a little bit disconcerting to me, because
it is a little. It is a little.
I just can't.
It is a little. And I thought I brought up the article on her. I'm just going to have to find it again so you guys can kind of get an idea.
Oh,
it's not about Kim Kardashian. Okay, that's the thing. It's about the woman.
El Chavez. Anybody that needs to contact us, please feel free to send me an email anytime. Massfaith33, MASFAITH33 @gmail.com. It's always in the description after our videos. So
okay, so here I'm just going to let the chick tell you.
Please do that. Here we go.
I think that he really spent the time to listen to our case that we were making for Alice. He really understood, and I am very hopeful that this will, turn out really positively, I hope.
One of the world's most recognizable stars went to the White House to fight for a woman few have heard of.
Kim Kardashian West met President Trump at the White House Wednesday.
Prison reform.
For Kim Kardashian West, it's taking her to D.C.
I feel like I want to stick to the basis of why I fell in love with this case and why I fell in love with Alice.
My name is Alice Marie Johnson. I'm a 62-year-old mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother.
Today, the day that we met with the president, is actually her 63rd birthday, so it was really special. I feel like, I went in, me and Sean, to really talk to the president about Alice Johnson and really explain to him why she would be such a good person to grant clemency to. I just feel really strongly that she has such a good support system. She has a job waiting for her. She has a home to go to, and she has such a great supportive family that just even seeing the work that she's done while she's in prison, knowing that she would never get out. She hasn't had one disciplinary infraction since she's been in prison in 21 and a half years. And, I just really strongly believe that she is someone that has completely rehabilitated herself and will continue to do so outside of prison. She's done her time. I mean, she's done almost 22 years. I think in life, everyone makes mistakes, and she really deserves a second chance.
Real Miss Alice is a woman who has made a mistake. If I could go back in time and change the choices that I made and make different choices, I would, but I can't.
It's funny because people will just hear something and not understand, well, what does Kim have to do with prison reform? 7 months ago, I saw a story on Twitter, and it was about a great-grandmother that just tugged at my heart, and it was just that simple connection. If it takes me to go and talk to the highest person in power, the only person that can make this happen, which is President Trump, then I will definitely do that. The president seems to have a passion for everything that Jared has been trying to do. And that just makes me happy that conversation is just moving forward.
I love you for real, from my heart. I love you.
Oh, I love you.
I love you. From my spirit, I love you.
You would have been proud of us today.
I mean, most importantly, I'm just focused on how Alice would feel, and I know that she would just be so grateful, and so she would be such an advocate for people like this in her situation, and I think it's definitely a bigger issue that has to be addressed, and I'm glad that I'm starting with her. You know, I mean, obviously I don't have a personal experience with prison myself, but I believe in family, and her family was torn apart by choices that she made 21 and a half years ago, and I believe in rehabilitation.
So here's the thing, like, Jared and Ivanka have their own angle. Like, they see that, like, the two most popular people on social media are Kim Kardashian and Kanye West. So if you can get them to say something positively about you, it is a
smart move,
super awesome publicity move.
Yes.
Now for Trump, I do believe, honestly, that he is one of those people that he is moved by justice, a sense of justice.
Yes.
Which is why he wants to keep MS-13 out and build the wall and things like that. So while he may be a little neurotic and jump around on different things, he's got a lot of different things that are being put on his plate. And this is the best PR move that he could do. Mm-hmm. But it shows the African-American community, which they follow Kardashians. I don't know why. But here's the thing, like Nancy Pelosi, there's a spark of God and a humanity in everybody. There's even a spark of humanity in Kim Kardashian. You can see it there. Her heart is moved. I see it in Caitlyn, Caitlyn Jenner. There's a spark of justice that you see in him, even though he's not mentally sound. We're dealing with people, I believe, who aren't mentally sound. Okay. But they have some things that move them in a right direction, I believe.
Okay, and I can definitely go with you that far. And this story is incredibly moving, and I can get behind what Kim Kardashian is doing. Can I add my own angle and you won't get upset at me?
Do your thing.
Okay, so my angle is I want to be always suspicious of everything. And the fact that Kanye West wants to be president and Kim Kardashian legitimately feels like her husband could be president is creepy to me. Yeah. Weird. So I'm behind the changes of Kanye. I'm behind the fact that he's waking the black community up, red pilling them with Candace Owens, things like if Kim Kardashian is going to start doing that, all right, then we can get behind that too. However, okay, I just kind of wonder, and I'm not saying I think, there's a difference between wonder and think. It's publicity. If this wasn't you know what, we're going to go do this because we're passionate about it and I'm really excited, and while we're there, maybe we can talk to President Trump about something else that we ain't going to tell nobody about.
That's true.
And that's all I'm going to say. That's it.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, so here's the thing with Kanye West being president. It's the same chances as Bernie Sanders.
No, it's less.
Less than Bernie Sanders.
It's less than Bernie Sanders. I think Bernie Sanders had a legit chance.
No.
Compared to
not in the whole of the country. Here's the thing: there are about as many people that would vote for Bernie as would vote for Kanye. There are people who would vote for him.
So?
Michelle,
I guess I'm so disconnected.
There's a whole
from those
community.
Type of people. I don't know.
There's a whole community.
Dang. All right. Well, I'm cool with what they did. This specific thing.
All right. So Tommy. All right. There is Katie Hopkins. I'm going to play the Tucker Carlson, and then I'm going to read you part of an article by Douglas Murray. I was disappointed in Nigel, who said, he was asking for it, and he didn't, I feel, come around and say, but it was wrong to begin with. He should have never been sentenced to begin with. He's been reporting his first sentence. Should have never been a sentence. Yeah. He should have been arrested the first time. He didn't do anything wrong. We're talking about the laws of nature. Nature's God. Mm-hmm. He's reporting on pedophile gangs. Right. What if the pedophiles could be convicted like that?
Exactly. And that is a thing that's been going around. People have been talking about that the swift justice, and I use that word in quotes if you're not actually watching here, the swift justice that put Tommy in jail this past time.
Within 5 hours.
We haven't seen the likes of that anywhere. So why is it that a man goes and live streams about a court case of rapists, and it is far more needing a heavy hand and swift justice than a child that has been groomed or raped or even murdered or cut up in kebabs and fed to people. I mean, seriously.
So it goes back and forth. I guess there was some famous pedophile who the reporters reported on.
Right.
Even though, could have, quote unquote, biased the jury. Mm-hmm. But they said that his name was so well known at the time that the jury pool was already tainted anyways. So, but everybody, even Nigel was like, he could have tainted the jury and thrown out the whole thing. That's a bunch of hogwash. I'm looking at cases here in America. O.J. Simpson, Bill Cosby.
Oh, I know. Come on.
All the Black Lives Matter shootings and all that. I mean, our media covers everything that we don't even want to see covered.
Yeah.
Talking about tainting the jury pool. I mean, like, seriously, I see where that's coming from, but not if somebody's just literally outside reporting on a case. You have to be able to report on a case that they said, yeah, but this was part of a multiple things and there were other, and you could taint the jury. Why? He read what they were being charged of. If you don't know what other people are being charged of, or if you don't know what the case people are being charged of, the case that you're a jury on. Right, exactly.
I don't know how the UK jury goes, but I'm going to guess it's the same here in the United States. The jury is told they are not allowed to look at news media. They're not allowed to watch things. They're not allowed to do any of that stuff.
Right.
You're left to your own reconnaissance.
This, I mean, it sounds, and I know the pretext for this is that he was interfering with jurors, but he was speaking his views on a public street when he was...
But he wasn't, though. Hang on, though. Because he was just reading the news at that point.
On a public street. He wasn't even on court.
He wasn't even saying his views, though.
Right.
Arrested and convicted immediately and sentenced to over a year in prison. Am I mischaracterizing that?
You're not at all. That's exactly what happened. He was outside the court. He was reporting on the trial of a grooming gang, as I would call it, a rape squad. It's a cause, as you rightly say, that he's believed in for so many years. And he's one of those people who's been calling this out relentlessly, despite all of the slurs that are made against him. And yet, within 5 hours, he was arrested, he was tried, and he was sent to prison for 13 months. And none of us were allowed to talk about it, write about it, mention it, because there was also a ban on any of the media speaking about it.
Well, that's the part I don't understand.
These are very dark times in the UK. It's a very curious feeling in this country at the moment.
Because Jacob, I'm going to guess one of our Polish viewers, it's a guess because of the name, said that there was no jury in this case. Was there? I thought that there was.
That was the whole point. It was to taint the jury.
Right. Well, they were just saying that it wasn't. And it kind of threw me off.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And I would say the country is on a knife edge. There is a real sense now that we are against our own government, that the establishment is working against us, and in order to cleanse voices it doesn't like, it will put them inside for as long as it needs to shut them up.
That's horrifying. I don't know, I'll be honest, anything really about Tommy Robinson. I don't care. I don't know what he believed. It doesn't matter. He was saying what he thinks in public.
Take that, Tucker. I don't know Tommy either. I'm not a colleague of his. I'm not. I don't work with him. Many people say he's an idiot, and in some ways I concur.
So what?
He's been told not to report at these trials, and yet he's still there reporting. He didn't go with his lawyer or solicitor. You know, he knew he was going to get into trouble. But then I say to myself, even if you don't like the guy, even if you don't know the guy, surely there's some fundamental principles like,
yes,
where was the swift justice for the victims of the grooming gangs? Where was the swift justice for the 11-year-old that was raped? If we can get Tommy in prison within 5 hours, where was the swift justice for these men? And where was the swift justice for the victims? And I would also say, no matter what you think of Tommy, whether you hate him, love him, don't know him, throwing him in prison when he is a guy who's repeatedly called out majority Pakistani grooming gangs, rape squads, that is a death sentence for Tommy Robinson. And we may criticize, our government may criticize the Russians, like for getting rid of Skripal and other spies they no longer want in our country. But our government knows if they put Tommy Robinson inside as they have done, and if he's put on an open wing, he will not survive his time inside. So I don't see how we're any different from the Russians. If this is how we're going to cleanse people that speak out against the establishment, these are dark times.
Where
for
the
UK,
media?
and
Where are the media in this? I mean, so again, you don't have to like this guy or know anything about him to understand what's at stake here, which is freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom of the press. Why would media outlets in Great Britain go along with this gag order? Why didn't they just defy it? Go ahead and arrest us all. If this isn't a civil rights issue, then what is a civil rights issue?
Well, this is where we divide, Tucker, into right and wrong, good and bad. And I have to say, I feel like majority of mainstream media right now in the UK is on the side of the bad. It is more important for them to be seen as multicultural and accepting and welcoming to our Muslim colleagues and our friends than it is to stand up for what we know is right. So it suits them much better to say, well, no, Tommy Robinson is an idiot. He was told not to be there at the court. He was still there at the court. And the law is in every sense justified to throw him inside. And they're celebrating, just as they're celebrating with Roseanne. But actually, what we have to ask ourselves is, what happened to freedom of speech in the UK? Because I firmly believe, and it's my opinion, we no longer have freedom of speech in the UK, and I believe Tommy Robinson will be killed inside the prison, and it will be the establishment that have blood on their hands.
Everybody watching this should be horrified. This is a threat not only to your rights, but to the rights of every American. Our right.
This is jailing of journalists, by the way. 13 months in prison for reporting, that's not a punishment. You can't do that.
Right.
You don't jail journalists.
No, you don't.
You can fine them or something, right? But you can't jail journalists.
Now, I want to go back to, everybody keeps saying what the judge told Tommy. I'm going to read this to you. Horatio had sent it to me. In short, Mr. I don't even know how to say his first name, Yaxley Lennon, that's Tommy's real name, turn up at another court, refer to people as Muslim pedophiles, Muslim rapists, and so on and so forth, while trials are ongoing, and before there has been a finding by a jury that that is what they are, and you will find yourself inside. Do you understand? Thank you very much. Now, let's talk about the fact that he just said, refer to them as Muslim rapists or Muslim pedophiles, and so on and so forth. Tommy went there and he read a newspaper.
So their names themselves are Muslim. What are you supposed to do? Mohammed.
That's a very good question. So what even Katie, sorry, my hair is stuck here. What even Katie and Tucker are trying to say is, and Nigel, the judge told him not to do it and he did it. I do not believe that Tommy even did that.
I don't.
That the judge referred to. Right. And so he was sentenced to 13 months in jail because of that. Hey, that was something worth covering.
Yeah, and Colin was on InfoWars today, and I think I just closed out my video.
Colin is, and I think
guy.
It's Kalen. His name is pronounced Kalen, is Tommy's kind of right-hand man.
Right.
And he has been out there getting the message out.
As far as reporting goes, because they weren't able to report from the very beginning, he was arrested for breach of the peace. But what peace did he breach? He pled guilty to contempt of court, and we just talked about that. You plead guilty thinking that he was going to maybe serve the 3 months.
Right.
And the judge just, I'm going to give you an extra 10.
Yeah.
You know,
he just literally randomly chose that extra 10 to throw on there.
A British man who suggested Islamist militants should target 4-year-old Prince George, destined to be Britain's future king, pleaded guilty to terrorism offenses on Thursday. Hussein Rashid, 32, posted information on the Telegram messaging service to encourage jihadis to carry out attacks, along with information to help them with possible targets such as soccer stadiums. Prosecutors said this included posting a picture of Prince George, the son of William and Kate. The post included the address of his school in southwest London, which he started attending last September, and a caption, "Even the royal family will not be left alone."
Wow.
He had initially denied the charges, but during his trial, he pled guilty according to 3 counts. And we still don't know how many years or whatever he got for encouraging terrorism. I don't know. So Majid Nawaz wants the word Islamophobia scrapped. And being called an Islamophobic myself, I feel like this is a really great thing here that he said.
And this brings me to the term Islamophobia, which is one of the biggest misnomers ever to have come about in recent years. Islamophobia includes within it hatred of Muslims as a people and criticizing and scrutinizing Islam as a religion.
You can definitely, totally care about and love people, but despise Islam.
Yeah.
And I have people sending me screenshots telling me I'm Islamophobic, but what he goes on to say is that what you're really doing when you're calling people Islamophobic is you're enforcing blasphemy laws.
Exactly. And no, they literally are now. That was the end of it?
No, I'm not done.
Oh,
he's not done.
Which is the right of every free-thinking human being anywhere in the world. So if I turned around and said that Islam today has a disproportionate problem with homophobia, with anti-freedom of religion stances, and so on and so forth, whatever, chopping the hand of the thief. That's not Islamophobic. That's talking about the doctrine of a religion that needs reform. Like we've been talking about Christianity over the course of this hour, and the doctrine of confession. That's not Islamophobic, and therefore let's change the word. Let's stop using the word Islamophobia, which lends itself to accusations of blasphemy, when in fact everyone should have the right to blaspheme. And yes, let's use instead the word Muslim phobia, which is more accurate, because it's wrong to hate Muslims as a people or individual Muslims as persons, but it's perfectly legitimate to scrutinize Islam as a doctrine. And that's the problem with the word Islamophobia. When Charlie Hebdo did what they did and scrutinized Islam as a religion, and they were murdered for it in their offices, that is their right to do so. There should never be a blasphemy law anywhere in Europe, and the word Islamophobia is used as a shield to reintroduce blasphemy as law through the back door. And that's my problem with the word. And in that, UK's most prominent Muslim phobia watchdog group, Tell Mama, supports me in this stance. Tell Mama UK, which monitors anti-Muslim hatred across the country, has also come out very publicly to state that the word Islamophobia is indeed a misnomer. And this is an internal debate going on between Muslims in this country. We've got to allow for scrutiny of our religion, like every other religion is scrutinized. So let's stop using the word Islamophobia, use the word Muslim phobia, which is more precise and accurate, and then recognize that a Conservative MP raising concerns around the disproportionate involvement of British Muslims in grooming gangs is not Islamophobia. It's pointing to facts that we all would do well and better to actually have a bit of self-reflection and introspection about.
All right, so Chris Holman says, a phobia is an irrational fear of something, pointing out the crimes of Muslims. I love that he spelled it out so it wouldn't be real. It took me a second there. And the blatant evil in the Quran is factual. Oh my gosh, now I don't know where I put the phone. Okay, here it is.
So I love what he had to say there, but I guess the Conservatives are to launch an independent inquiry in the UK to allegations of Islamophobia within the party. And so basically people who criticize Islam are now labeled with this thing, but if you can get rid of it, it's like calling people far right. Like everybody right at Stalin is far right. They call Tommy Robinson far right. I'm just so tired of it. We are not Islamophobic. I don't have a rational fear of anything. So, you know, there is that. This is insane. Pedophile who threatened to kill president now running for Congress thanks to Terry McAuliffe. So an admitted pedophile who served 16 months in federal prison for threatening to assassinate the president of the United States is now running for Congress thanks to former Democratic governor of Virginia, Terry McAuliffe. Nathan Larson is an independent candidate in Virginia who admitted to HuffPost that he's a pedophile who bragged in blog posts about raping his ex-wife and fantasized about things, nasty things. Larson is also a convicted felon who wouldn't be eligible to run for office in Virginia had McAuliffe not restored Larson's right to vote and run for office in 2016. So that was a big thing. For Terry McAuliffe made it so that felons could vote and run for office. And we were talking about with Dinesh D'Souza. If you have a felony,
it should be a big deal.
You don't get to vote. You don't get to run for office.
Wait a minute. I was on the phone here, and I just kind of came in at the end, and you're telling me that this guy that was convicted of rape,
a pedophile,
of pedophile, and raped his ex-wife, is running for office.
And he said, I'm writing to inform you in the near future I will kill the President of the United States in a 2008 email to the Secret Service.
They'll let anybody run for office these days.
They will. Speaking of craziness, Google blames Wikipedia for listing Nazism as one of California Republican Party's ideologies. So
stop it!
If you Googled up until recently, California Republican Party ideology, Nazism, conservatism, market liberalism, fiscal conservative, green conservatism.
Hang on, though. Oh my gosh.
So Google has said that somebody hacked Wikipedia, and thus they got their information from Wikipedia.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
I know.
Hang on though, because so what says, why is he even still alive? How about that guy? If you threaten to kill the President of the United States, which remember at that time in 2008 would have been, was it Barack Obama? Like, depending on what time of the year it was?
Depending on what time of the year.
No, because it would have been 2009 that he came into office.
Would have been Bush, yeah.
So, okay, but still, regardless, it doesn't matter. If you're going to threaten to the Secret Service that you're going to kill the President of the United States, you should be, like, arrested for a while.
All right, so Trump says no to new North Korean sanctions. The meeting is on. President Donald Trump says he won't impose any additional sanctions on North Korea for the time being. He says we have had hundreds of new sanctions ready to go, but he says they won't impose them until the talks break down. The president is referencing ongoing discussions with North Korea in preparation for a June 12th summit in Singapore with North Korea leader Kim Jong-un. Trump announced Friday after meeting with the top aide to Kim that the summit is back on. He had announced just last week that he was canceling the meeting. Speaking after the Oval Office meeting, the president said he looks forward to the day when he can take the sanctions off of North Korea. And he says June 12th, the meeting will be a beginning, and the process will begin June 12th in Singapore. He says he has yet to read the letter brought to the White House by a top aide to North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Trump says he didn't open the letter. I guess there was a letter brought in. But I have to show you, if I can find it. There's a little video. That's Roseanne Barr. Sorry.
We're going to get to that at the end.
Yeah, we're going to get to some of these. So the North Korean agents struggle with the SUV door. So, SUV. Donald Trump met with the second most powerful man in North Korea at the White House today. Every camera on the press corps was rolling as the convoy carrying the diplomats arrived at the White House. His name is Kim Chol. And I'm going to play this little video for you because I found it kind of funny. They don't have doors, I guess, in North Korea. I'm just kidding. So everybody was kind of like, what?
Great, but we have to be clear that this is a carrot for Kim Jong-un.
Looks like the vehicle has arrived with Kim Young-chol, the North Korean official who's been delegated, spent the last couple of days in New York City meeting with Mike Pompeo, the Secretary of State, who himself has been to Pyongyang twice over the past few months. There you see John Kelly, the White House Chief of Staff. He just escorting. There he is, Kim Young-chol, walking into the White House. This is a historic meeting, a historic moment. Indeed, first time in 18 years that a North Korean official has been invited, A, to Washington, as I said, and B, to the White House.
Yeah, and obviously we all agree this is theater, but this is also a very clear diplomatic move to give the North Koreans what they want, to try to get them to come back to the table to start these real negotiations. Because there are definitely differences of opinion inside the White House, but the opinion that matters most, the President of the United States wants this and wants this bad. So this is a diplomatic card that they're playing. This is a diplomatic dance, and one that the president is hoping will get him on better footing, on good footing, maybe even have more leverage with the North Koreans when and if the summit happens.
We all agree.
It's really hard to listen to those people at the fake news network.
All right, so we are going to tackle Roseanne for a minute. I guess I should show you her tweet first.
I think you would be living under a rock. I think it's ROSE.
Yeah.
AN. There you go. If you don't know what has happened, but sometimes you guys just come to us for the news, and I think that is fantastic. So, to break it down, Roseanne made a tweet about Valerie Jarrett. Now, if you guys do not know who Valerie Jarrett is, she was a live-in advisor of Barack Obama. she stayed up with them at night. She was like a member of the family. I mean, to the point that other people in the Obama administration found it odd. This relationship that he had with Valerie Jarrett. She has ties to the Muslim Brotherhood.
She's Iranian. She's Muslim. She is Muslim.
So Roseanne calls her out about it.
Right.
Using the word ape.
Yeah.
And didn't know that Valerie Jarrett was black because she doesn't look black. It was unfortunate on Roseanne's part that she didn't do the research to know that Valerie Jarrett was black. I don't know how you could not know. I knew.
So they're going to scrub the images from the whole internet. They're not even going to let you show it.
But Valerie Jarrett
out.
is an evil woman. Very, very, evil. Very evil woman. She really is. So my opinion is the organizing for action that we see on the Obama's website, she's kind of behind every little thing. She's like the mother-in-law that you hate. Yeah. That you can't get rid of. Somehow she has something on the Obamas, and I wouldn't be surprised if she and wherever she comes from put Obama in office because he's a man that came from nowhere. Mm-hmm. Someone with massive power put that man into office.
They scrubbed it. They scrubbed the picture.
Did they really?
You can't find it. It's hilarious.
I think I can find it. You read your stories and I will find it because I know where I can find it.
All right. So basically, they said cross of the when the Muslim Brotherhood and the Planet of the Apes have a baby. The thing of it is that the picture from the Planet of the Apes, which nobody is actually tweeting out, which I find hilarious, does look like Valerie Jarrett. The ape has a little pointy nose.
I'll pull it up.
And has like spiky hair. It's like the same I mean, it's an actress, by the way, like a human actress. And it does look like her. It does. I mean, but here's the thing. They've been tweeting out and they've been doing all kinds of news articles about Donald Trump. Look, they've been calling him orangutan but it's not okay because he's right. It's okay because he's white. Right. So then she tweets out and she's like, she says, I didn't know she was black. I thought she was white. People aren't believing her, whether you believe her. Joe Rogan, he's friends with her. He knows her. He's been trying to get her on the show. He's been talking to her. She's in like a mental breakdown. They canceled her show.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
And in the meantime, you have these crazy people like Joy Reid, who I don't really care for. I don't really care to even know about. And you've got this Samantha Bee chick who tweeted out or did a whole program about Ivanka Trump. And I bet you can find what Samantha Bee said. I don't even care about her, honestly. I don't want to bring you this news, but the hypocrisy on the left is so crazy. Yeah. What Tucker had on his little friend, and talking about this. I guess here it is.
Beautiful photo of you and your child, but let me just say, one mother to another, do something about your dad's immigration practices, you feckless c***. He listens to you. Put on something tight and low cut and tell your father to f***ing stop it. Tell him it was an Obama thing and see how it goes, okay? We'll be right back.
So she's allowed to say that.
So Trump wants her fired, and I'm just tired I am personally tired with all the boycotts and fire this person, and fire that person, and fire this person.
So it looks like they have scrubbed it off of even Facebook. Josh Sigerson of World Alternative Media had shared it on his page, and that's where I was going to find it, but it's even scrubbed off of there.
That's funny.
They are scrubbing. They're, you know what? They're just neat freaks. They're cleaners.
So, but here's the thing. When it comes to this guy, Keith Olbermann, who talks about horrible things about women, Jimmy Kimmel and his crotch grab, the liberals never get fired.
They don't even get called out about it, though, by other liberals.
Oh, no.
Do you know that the Republicans call out other Republicans all of the time?
Right. So then you have Sally Field, who comes out and says Ivanka is worse than the C word. And Tucker and his friend were talking about how the F-bomb has lost all its power.
Yeah.
So people, it's used on F-bomb used to not be on TV. People didn't say it in public.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's become, people become desensitized to it. So in order to have a word that is strong, she's using the C word, which is a very horrible, awful word. And she's using it to
I don't think that, here's the thing. I have a problem when men use that word, because I don't think that you guys as men understand how harsh it's received by females. I have even more of a problem with a woman that uses that word, because they know. So they know how it's received by other women, and it is like the worst thing that you could be called, like, I can't say words that you could be called, but you could be called a whole host of other things before that word. Yeah. You know what I mean?
So Samantha Bee has taken the right action in apologizing for the vile and inappropriate language she used about Ivanka Trump last night. Those words should not have been aired. It was our mistake and we regret it. So they put up the pictures. It was they filmed it. They put it in the thing that she read. That everybody knew it was happening. Yeah. And then one of her producers said, "So the C word seems to be trending. Hey, watch Full Frontal. Still need this footage. We can't license the one everyone has seen. Help us make jokes. I'll send you a copy of his Full Frontal swag." So basically saying he was so excited. CBS was excited that it was trending on Twitter. And then with this little backlash, Trump said fire her or whatever you need to do. I find it just stupid. This whole thing is just stupid. And you've got a CNN analyst, Brian Kareem, cheers Sally Field for comparing Ivanka Trump to this bad word. And it just goes on and on and on. Sally Field says, I like Samantha Bee. She says she's wrong for calling her the C word. They're powerful, beautiful, nurturing, and honest. And this guy, Brian, says, okay, best tweet of the day, young lady, to Sally Field. And it's just like, so weird what's happening right now. And you have Roseanne, who's gone on this super apology tour. She's like literally broken up inside because she said that Valerie Jarrett was a cross between the Planet of the Apes and the Muslim Brotherhood, which actually a lot of conservatives are saying it's not a funny joke, but if you know who Valerie Jarrett is, it's a funny joke.
But if you also understand the Planet of the Apes and the concept behind the show, it actually makes sense, and it's not racially insensitive to quote the Planet of the Apes, because it's an idea, I should say, of how something could happen, a takeover, right? And so that, I think, is what she was referring to, not just saying an ape.
To me, though,
she said the Planet of the Apes. It's a show. Oh my gosh!
But here's the thing.
A movie or whichever you watched.
When I think the real racist, I'm actually calling out, like, I can see the conservatives who actually are, oh my gosh, you guys are racist. Like, you don't know you are, but you're racist if you think that the joke, the Planet of the Apes and the Muslim Brotherhood, is a racial joke.
Right.
You're racist.
Yeah, because then you're saying, oh, I get it.
I get it. It didn't cross my mind. It would not have crossed my mind.
It would not have crossed my mind either.
To have been a racist joke.
And maybe it's just because we're white and I don't know. But I didn't get it because I don't make that correlation. I just don't.
Racists make the correlation between apes and black people.
And to be perfectly honest, I'm not making an excuse for Roseanne because I don't know where she's at or whatever. But maybe she comes from the same ignorant whiteness that we do.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I didn't know that was a thing. Now, she did tweet out later with, was it her son? Mm-hmm. Saying, of course, if I had thought she was black, everybody knows you don't call black people apes, which she didn't even call her an ape. She said it's a cross between.
I'm so tired of this political correctness that you could call a white person an ape, but you can't call a black person an ape. I'm so tired of it. Trump, I've seen more orangutan in Trump pictures than anything else.
Yes.
You know, I'm just so tired. The real racist, like, here's the thing. Real racists are evolutionists who believe that black people are, like in Charles Darwin, they're closest to an ape.
Right.
They believe that. They believed it when in Charles Darwin's
They totally
book,
did.
They taught it to public school kids in the 30s that black people were less than white people because they were closer to apes. They taught that in Charles Darwinism. We're Christians. Not a thing, right? Nobody's descended from an ape.
Now, so what had said, speaking of all of this. Where is Obama now? I don't know if you wanted to just kind of give them an update on the whole Netflix thing.
Obama has a $54 million Netflix deal. And that's another boycott. Everyone wants to boycott Netflix. Boycotts have lost their power too, on the right and the left. It's like all insane.
Right.
You know? But I guess Netflix, the guy who owns Netflix, his wife got an ambassadorship to like Jamaica or something.
Dale Jones says, why is it okay for Muslims to call Jewish people a cross between pigs and monkeys?
That's a really good question. When it comes to liberals and their favorite illegal aliens, sometimes they need to check the background first. Liberals cry a river over model student facing deportation who beat the heck out of a girl at school. The American Thinker brings you a sob story today on a model student who may miss his high school graduation because he's locked up at a local facility. The poor child is locked up in a detention facility. The New York Times drops the pertinent information until several paragraphs into the story. Dennis Riviero Sarmento pushed a girl down and beat the heck out of her at school. As Dennis Riviera Sarmento sat in a detention center 80 miles from his Texas home this past winter, clad in a blue inmate uniform, he could see his high school diploma slipping further from his reach. Graduation was in June, but a schoolyard scuffle with a girl who he said had called him a racial epithet had gotten him arrested by his high school's police officer. Then a state law that required the Harris County Sheriff's Office to cooperate with federal immigration officers flagged him for deportation back to his native Honduras, from which he and his family had fled 5 years ago. The case of the quiet kid who got good at soccer, hauled from high school to a deportation center, turned Mr. Riviera into a cause of celebre in Houston. The Times reported, court records say Riviera pushed a girl down and then struck her in the head with his fists. The girl was taken to a hospital and released. And I'm sorry. You can't hail this guy for being, oh my gosh, he was arrested. I can't believe it. He's going to be deported.
You just hit me with your fist.
You know what? If you're in the country illegally, don't go beating people up. Just don't do it. You know? Don't drive drunk. Don't do stupid things.
So, if you're done with that story, I feel like we didn't really finish the Roseanne thing because we didn't really talk very much about it. What happened was she did this tweet. ABC canceled the new show that had humongous ratings.
Yeah.
Everybody was watching it. People were coming out of the woodworks that don't even watch television to watch this show. When we were kids, we weren't allowed to watch Roseanne because it was too vile.
Yep.
Like, to be perfectly honest, we were not allowed to watch that, and we weren't allowed to watch Married with Children.
Right.
Those were no-nos in our house, among other things. But I remember that specifically.
So you're right. I'm not done.
She has come out. She is red-pilled. And we haven't really delved into that very much.
You're right.
I don't think. I think there's a little bit more that we can hash out
here. So I'm
here.
going to go through some of her tweets to give you an idea. Amy Meck, I've been following her on Twitter. If you follow anybody on Twitter, she's like anti-Islam. She calls out things on Twitter. She's not, that's not her real name. HuffPost doxed her, got her husband fired, is working on getting her brother fired, and Roseanne tweeted out that this, she's been fired and things like that. Roseanne tweeted out Larry Elder, which said, Real Roseanne said she didn't know Valerie Jarrett was black and had assumed she's white. My white producer told me he thought so too. Bill Maher and Kimmel compared white Trump to an orangutan. If Barr honestly thought Jarrett was white, this changes the debate. She says, I end by offering everyone involved one more apology and prayers for healing of our divided nation. Tomorrow is Shabbat, and I will continue and pray that everything for everyone goes forward and ends well. Signing off the Twitter for a while. Then she tweets out this.
Get off of the liberal plantation. It's okay. It's going to be tough in the beginning. It's going to be tough. You're going to be ridiculed. You may even be attacked. But get off of the liberal plantation. They've done nothing but shove welfare, handouts, quotas down our throats. And look where it has gotten us. In some of the major cities in the United States, we have the worst crime rate. Black-on-black crime. Teen pregnancy. The worst 50% high school dropout rate. And that's what liberal policy has gotten black folks. So I tell you, it's okay to get off of the liberal plantation, my black brothers and sisters. Okay?
So she tweets that out yesterday, which I find hilarious.
She tweets out Hannity.
Hannity on the calling conservatives Nazis. overheard on the golf course today. That's funny. Roseanne, I'm not going to read that one. She's been tweeting out QAnon, by the way, a lot. She tweeted this out. Somebody wrote a song about Roseanne, tweet song called This Little Tweet from Roseanne.
But it had a lot of curse words that looked like in it.
Yeah.
Come on.
Don't play it if it's got curse words.
Well, sorry. I was just going to see. Well, she tweeted this out about the Alice and Mac with the Nexium sex slaves. Keith, she retweeted this out from Lionel thinking, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking the real Roseanne got a raw deal from ABC, especially after they took this friendless man, the poster child of self-loathing, back. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking Roseanne deserves the same consideration, and you're right.
Our mom loves to watch Lionel. We talk about shows that we would recommend. I don't really watch him. I don't watch much of anything.
She tweeted this out from an open secret. The following swift Roseanne cancellation, ABC, Disney questioned by open secret for hiring a convicted child molester. And so she had tweeted out, guys, earlier, she's like, you know what? I feel like fighting because of you guys. And she says, can you help me get more followers here? The more I have, the more my words will have weight. I am a fighter for fairness in all aspects of life. I am tired of being smeared over a stupid mistake erasing 30 years of activism. And so she tweets out anomaly. Like, she follows everybody we follow. Mark Dice, and she's red-pilled, you guys. Seriously. Roseanne said realer stuff for social justice causes than all of the big networks and late night hosts combined. Her interviews are filled with gems for the people. One bad tweet doesn't change that. They just want to control the narrative. Canceling Roseanne was overkill and purely political. Double standards all over your network, night and day. And she tweeted out Donald Trump. Bob Iger of ABC called Valerie Jarrett to let her know the ABC does not tolerate comments like those made by Roseanne Barr. Gee, he never called President Donald Trump to apologize for the horrible statements he made and said about me on ABC. Maybe I just didn't get the call. She goes, I'm not a racist. I never was, never will be. One stupid joke in a lifetime of fighting for civil rights and for all minorities against networks. Here's the thing. They wanted her show to end. They didn't care how much money she was bringing in. Money's no big deal to them.
It's all about power.
I'm just done. And they want to like reboot it with like the Sarah Gilbert or whatever. Nobody's gonna. You're gonna have a different audience. The audience isn't gonna watch her. She's a lesbian liberal chick.
Lee and I were talking on a dog walk the other day about the powers that be, and that there are. I don't remember what the topic was that we were talking about, but there are only two things in life that crazed people seek, and that is money and power.
Right.
And money is actually pretty easy to come by.
Right.
It's not that difficult to become wealthy. Oh, and fame. There were three things. Money, fame, and power. You can seek fame because fame is harder to come by than money. Okay, so there are a lot of people that, you know what, I don't really even care about the money, ABC, the seeking fame. But most people also seek power, too, because you can't just get power.
It's a high, it's a power trip.
It is. And that's what ABC and the power holders that control them.
Had everything he wanted. Rapists aren't about, he wasn't about seeking sexual pleasure.
Right.
It's all about power. Power. He had over people was a high that you could get people to do things.
Right. Which is why a lot of times when you hear about these sex addict, whatever, touchy-feely people in Hollywood, they're also very angry. No one wants to work with them because they have anger issues.
Right.
Because that's kind of a power trip. All right, so are you done?
We're done.
So I want to point something out, just for the fun of it, because Horatio and I were discussing, and he said, you should show this to your viewers. I want to show you a Make America Great Again hat. Now, we've all seen the Make America Great Again hat. He said, from a geek standpoint, I'm wondering if I can make this even larger. How do you do that, Leah? The Control Plus?
Yeah.
Is that right? Okay. It still didn't get any bigger. The picture stayed the same. All right. So let me go back here so I can hover over this. So let's look at this font here. He said, from a geek standpoint, there are two different fonts on this. I think, in fact, I need to make this even bigger so you really can see it on this. So the G here, look at that G. And this G, I don't know if you can see that, guys, has a tail on it. Okay. So that means that whoever designed this hat used 2 different fonts. Horatio was making a hat for somebody and had to research the fonts. There's 2 different fonts. Now, I said to him, you know what? It's a thing. I have a friend that is I guess all these people are arguing over these 2 fonts on the Make America Great Again hat, which I found hilarious. I have a friend that's a graphics designer, and fonts are a big deal. He says in the graphic design world, we all like the papyrus font. It's kind of that earthy font. You don't do it. It's a thing. There are memes out there against the papyrus font that most of us like to choose because it's visually pleasing. You don't use it because it's overused. So when it comes to fonts in the font world, it is a big deal. And so that's where Horatio was coming from. I said, hey, your IQ must be like impeccable to notice that about the 2 different G's there. But I said, but from a conspiracy theory standpoint, I think our viewers could go crazy. Why is it? Why are there 2 different fonts? What are the fonts? What is the QAnon hasn't sent a message about the 2 different fonts in the Make America Great Again hat, which I just thought was hilarious. All right, so last but not least, we have a little mail call that we're gonna do. Lee and I like to screen things before we open them on air.
Yeah.
Because we never know what we're gonna get. But we didn't have time to do that. So here you go. If you want, you want this?
Go ahead. This is from New York, New York.
From New York, New York. I think I know who this is from. Sooks had asked me the other day if we got a book in the mail. A signed one. I think that might be from Sooks.
Oh, wow.
Is there a card in there? Because it didn't say on the return address.
Leah and Michelle, Brian asked me to send this. Enjoy.
Oh my gosh. So she actually mailed it herself.
So this is Lessons from the Prairie. This is Melissa Francis. She is the author of the acclaimed Diary of a Stage Mother's Daughter. And this is very cool.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. He's here. He just made it. Slicks just made it on.
She was only 8 years old when she won the role of Lifetime, playing Cassandra Cooper Ingalls in the world's most famous primetime soap opera, Little House on the Prairie. Melissa shares behind-the-scenes stories from the set and inspirational yet practical life lessons learned from the show's Michael Landon, and that have echoed throughout her adult life. She'll teach you her recipe for turning disaster into golden opportunity, the psychological and financial benefits of staying positive, and how to be open to everyday miracles, all while peeling back the curtains on both the legendary Little House on the Prairie series and widely popular Fox News phenomenon. Whether you're a fan of her past or present television network, you'll roar at Melissa's unique brand of self-deprecating humor and walk away with the tools to lead you.
This is fantastic. I've pulled up her Wikipedia page here for you guys to see.
Thanks, Brian. This is really neat.
You literally had her send this?
Very cool.
That is fan-stinking-tastic. Oh my gosh. This is so awesome. Thank you, Brian.
That's pretty special.
He sent me a message and he's like, did you by any chance get a signed book in the mail? And I said, well, we have some stuff from a mail call that we need to open that we haven't. This is going to be a really enjoyable book.
This will be fun.
I'm going to enjoy reading that. Thank you very much, Brian.
That's really fun.
You are very kind.
Thank you. Very cool. Very cool.
That is awesome. He says if you buy the book and mail it to her, she will send it back signed. Oh. Okay. Awesome. And so instead of sending it back to Brian, she sent it to our address.
That's very cool.
Stop it, Brian. Oh, that's
awesome.
Gosh.
You want to open this one?
Yes. I do want to open this. Now, we get things sent from eBay, and I never know, like, a lot of times there's nothing, like, who sent it. Like, that came from China. This is really wrapped.
I'll open the one from China while you're unwrapping that one.
Like, this is really
We've gotten the seeds, so they're fun. Oh, more jewelry.
Take it out of the bag. Did you take it out of the bag?
Nope, not yet.
Oh my, this is a really weirdly...
Huh. Look at this. That is a really pretty necklace.
Oh my gosh, that is really pretty. Wow. That's nice. All right, this is not going as well as I had hoped.
Thank you to whoever sent
this from China. Open the next one. Is that salt? It looks like it would be like a salt necklace. So one time we were at church and we were up front as a youth group and we were praying over a girl, and afterwards, and Lee and I had these necklaces that I had bought in Washington, D.C. where they'll write your name on a grain of rice and put it in a tube.
Okay, this one's pretty crazy. I'm not sure. Don't be offended if we don't wear the eye.
Yeah, totally going to probably not wear that. See, that's this crystal thing has got me a little bit freaked out.
Me too. I'm like totally tripping, man.
It's pretty.
It's pretty, but
we're
eye,
praying
man.
over this girl, right?
Yeah.
And I had this necklace that was in like a kind of a tube with the rice on it. And afterwards, the pastor's wife came up to us and was like, somebody had come up to me and said, you know, they were worried that you were like wearing a crystal, praying over these. And I was like, dude, it's a grain of rice.
It had a name written on it. Somebody gave us a necklace with a real name.
I went to Washington, D.C. and I had all of our names written on rice.
Yeah.
And brought it home.
Right.
You try to remember. So yeah. Okay. The first one is awesome. The second one is very pretty.
It's very pretty.
But not so sure about the eye.
Yeah, the eye, dude. The eye.
But thank you for the very, very thoughtful. Can't get it to. This is why, like, remember how I said we like to.
So I'm not going to say who this is from.
Well, Kelly sends stuff a lot.
Never mind.
It's a different Kelly. Oh,
kind of a personal letter, so I was going to just read it.
Well,
I'm not
okay, then never mind. Well, you can read the card. It says, what's it say?
Oh, love is sending thanks. So
different Kelly than our moderator.
Yeah.
I think her name is Kelly Fish on the screen name. I apologize.
Yeah, it's okay. We're not. We're not picking up on things lately.
Signals. We tried to send each other signals. Yeah. And it hasn't been working.
No, we've been like totally failing on some signals that we keep saying like, I'm not gonna read who it's from, and then Michelle's like, oh sure. It's okay.
But here's the beauty of the eBay thing. That it comes straight from eBay. DHEA supplement, the dietary supplement. Somebody keeps sending us supplements unopened, obviously, straight from eBay.
Do you think it's Josh?
Maybe.
That'd be awesome. So, thank you for the DHEA.
That's good stuff,
we're taking all kinds of stuff. People, I'm like, we are.
Don't tell people that we actually take the stuff they send, because then they could send poison in the mail.
That's true.
Okay, first of all, this is packaged. Yeah. I mean, seriously. It's got a package on it. Oh my gosh. All right, so thank you to those of you that sent. I still want to hear some letters. I had some emails and I can't find them now because my email box is so full that I had wanted to read on air.
I'm just wondering if like the AIDS and weight loss is that a thing?
Is that a fat pill? You calling us fat?
Lowers inflammation, improves bone density, protects against depression, cognitive decline, and mood swings.
What are you trying to say? Whoever sent this, I'm gonna have to.
It helps increase pregnancy rate. I think it's great. It improves sleep.
You know what? You can take as many things as you would like to increase pregnancy, but there is really only one effectual way to accomplish that. Yeah. Which all of you married folks should be accomplishing.
Thanks, everybody.
All right. So, also, last bit of news here. Kelly and her family, other Kelly, moderator Kelly, are going to be coming to pick up piglets on Sunday. We are very excited about this. And we will be doing our regular show on Sunday. We're probably going to shorten it so that after the fact, we can do a live stream with Kelly and her family. So we will see you guys here at our regular time, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our European and UK news. And then you'll get to meet Kelly and her family.
Well, give us time. We have to...
Yeah, not like immediately after.
Yeah, it won't be immediately after.
It'll probably be an outside thing.
Yeah.
Not inside. So anyway, wanted to let you guys know about that. Do I have any other news I need to tell him? We've been so busy, and I'm really sorry. We had wanted to go live
during this week for sure.
Right. Ooh, can I tell him my story? So, do you guys know about the piglet that we had that had no anus? We didn't tell them about that. So, this is a common thing in pigs. If you're going to want to raise pigs someday, you need to know about this. It can happen. It does happen in pigs more than in any other mammal. So we had one. We didn't know about it until she was about 6 weeks old. And she's maybe a little bit younger than that, 5 weeks. Because if it's a female, their feces can go out of the vulva. We have had it in males before, but you find out really right away. And then you just kind of, unfortunately, take care of that situation. So she was bloated, and I told Leah she's looking lethargic. I don't know. So I take her to the vet, and I'm like, I should know what gender of piglet this is before I take it in to the vet. So I'm at the vet with this sick piglet, and I lift up her little tail, and I'm like, it's a female, and I'm not seeing a butt. That's not good. That is not good. So, and it has nothing to do with inbreeding. It's just a common pig thing. But anyway, I took her in, and I'm thinking there's nothing that they can do for her. That's what I've always read. And the vet says to me, yep, I'm like, well, I kind of saw that. I figured that's what it was. And he says, I can do an experimental surgery on her. See what happens. I can do it for you at cost. I said, how much would cost be? And he said $100. And so I call Leah, and we're kind of going back and forth, and we're like, you know what? What the heck? It's actually not bad genes, Eric. I have to tell you, it will happen across the board. You can have the best genes, the best whatever, and it's going to happen. This is a common thing for pig farmers. I've done the research, trust me. So he does the surgery, calls me like within an hour or two, and was like, it went really well. She's doing great. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, come and get her. So that was like 2 weeks ago. She's out there. She's doing great. We had somebody that came and picked up piglets on Tuesday. Got 2 females, 2 males. Yesterday I'm out there, and I cannot find, they named her Carrot, by the way, at the vet's office. I can't find Carrot. I come in, I tell Leah, I'm like, oh my gosh, what if we sent Carrot with the lady? Like, I don't know how that would be possible, how I wouldn't have known, because I was sexing them so that they would go, correctly. But I'm freaking out, going, what am I going to tell this girl? I'm going to have to call her. We're going to have to drive 2 hours north to exchange this piglet or give her a refund or something. I have to call the vet and be like, can she even be bred? Because this lady wants pigs for... I knew she couldn't, but they're like, no. Like, I wouldn't even want to breed that. But anyway, finally, I'm like, Leah, before we call this girl, you're going to have to come out there and help me. And we go out and we found her. And she's doing great. So that's kind of the latest of the farm update. We've been really busy doing pig waters and stuff like that.
In the garden and just all kinds of stuff. Oh,
yes, we've been so busy we haven't been eating and sleeping. So that's why we haven't been coming to you live. And I apologize. We really wanted to. So, all right, we're going to sign off here. My tomato is dead. No, your tomato is not dead. So what? No, not dead. All right, I want to thank all our moderators. No idea where Gary was today. Everybody was asking. Kelly, thank you for being here. We'll see you soon. Maia, worth a look. Sooks, Mama Donna. I don't think Britt Baza was here. It's late there in the UK.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Master A3 and Resistance Chicks.
Ring the bell for notifications.
Find us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. We love you. God loves you. And God bless.
We will see you back on Sunday.
Sunday at 1.
Don't forget, it's not a conspiracy theory.
If it's the truth.
And we have a P.O. Box 107, Milford, Ohio, 45150. All right. Adios, guys.
Adios, muchachos.
I was cold all alone. No place for home every day. So afraid. But you called my name.